Hello and welcome back. We're going to work on lesson 5-6 and we're going to continue to work on our skill of doubling. I would like you to get out your whiteboard marker and eraser, and on that whiteboard I would like you to write down the answer to 2 times 4 and record or write down the rest of the fact family for 2 times 4 on your whiteboard. Pause the video and then come back when you are finished. All right, now that you're back, what did you get for an answer for 2 times 4? You should have gotten 8. And then remember, fact families, we're working on multiplication. So for that fact family, there will be 2 multiplication problems and 2 division problems most of the time. So the rest of the fact family for 2 times 4 is going to be 4 times 2. So those would be our 2 multiplication problems, 2 times 4 and 4 times 2. We do the turnaround fact. And then we have 2 division problems. And when you are writing division problems, remember, the biggest number always has to come first. So the 2 division problems for this fact family would be 8 divided by 2 equals 4, and 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Remember, when you are writing out a fact family, the only digits you use are the same 3. So each fact family has to have a 2, a 4, and an 8. I can't have a 12. I can't have a 6 because they're not in my original fact. So the next one I have is 4 divided by 2. See if you can figure out the rest of the facts for the fact family, 4 divided by 2. Come back when you have those written down. So for an answer for 4 divided by 2, you should have gotten 2, because 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now there's just one more. There's only one other fact in this fact family, and it's going to be 2 times 2 equals 4. Well, why not 2 multiplication problems, Mrs. Fleury? Well, gang, if I would write the other multiplication problem, the turnaround fact, it's going to be 2 times 2 equals 4. The other division problem would be 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So sometimes there are 4 facts in a fact family, and sometimes there are only 2. Let's move on. Write down the answer and all the other facts in the fact family for 3 times 4. Come back when you have that finished. 3 times 4 is 12. The other facts in that fact family are 4 times 3 equals 12. Those are the 2 multiplication problems. Now I'm going to show you the division problems. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. Remember, we have to use the same 3 digits. 3, 4, and 12 in all of those problems. And our second problem for you to work on this page is 9 divided by 3. Write down the answer for 9 divided by 3 and write down the problems in the fact family. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. I don't have 2 multiplication problems. Well, I shouldn't say I don't. You could write down 2, but really, guess what? It's still going to be exactly the same as the one you have. Now, why is that? Why did that work for 9 divided by 3 and 4 divided by 2? Because these are doubles. Anytime I am multiplying the same digits together, so if I do 4 times 4, 4 times 4 is 16. The factors are the same. So 16 divided by 4 is going to be 4. I don't need to write a second multiplication problem. I don't need to write a second division problem. because they're going to be the same. That will only work when our factors are the same. Wipe off your board. Let's try this one. 3 times 9. Figure out the answer for 3 times 9, and then record the rest of the fact family on your whiteboards. All right. So 3 times 9 is 27. 9 times 3 equals 27. 27 divided by 3 equals 9. 27 divided by 9 equals 3. We have 18 divided by 3. Well, how many are in each group of 3? So if I divide 18 into 3 equal groups, how many are going to be in each group? If you need to, when in doubt, draw that out first. That's fine. You should get 6. And then 3 times 6 equals 18. 6 times 3 equals 18. Those are the 2 multiplication problems. And the other division problem is 18 divided by 6 equals 3. Good job. Now turn to page 168 in your math journal, and I want you to complete the first 3 problems. Blank is a double of 3 because half of blank is 3. Blank is a double of 5 because half of blank is 5. Blank is a double of 9 because half of blank is 9. Take some time, see what you can come up with, and come back when you're finished. All right, so I want you to think about what you wrote down. And I want you to think about, how did you decide what number to write down? Well, here's what I did. I started with the number that was given, and I'm going to double it. So 3 was given, I'm going to double it, that's going to be 6. So 6 is a double of 3 because half of 6 is 3. I'm going to double 5, that's going to be 10. 10 is a double of 5 because half of 10 is 5. And now I have 9, I'm going to double it. 18 is a double of 9 because half of 18 is 9. So I want you to look at those doubles that you wrote down, 6, 10, and 18. What do all of those doubles have in common? So you had 6, 10, and 18. What do they all have in common? They are all even numbers. So why does that happen? Well, that's because each of these doubles can be divided into 2 groups, 2 equal groups, without any left over. So I can divide 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Another way I can show that is if I have a rectangle and it's 6 across the top and 2 down the bottom. What I can do is I can separate the big side in half. And that's going to be 3, and that's going to be 3. So the area of the big rectangle would be 6 times 2, which is 12. And then if we were to find the area of each separate small rectangle, this would be 2 times 3. This would be 2 times 3. And that's 6. And that's 6. And 6 plus 6 is 12. Just another strategy to use. So number 4 on this page, let's think about this. Your friend is planting a rectangular garden that is 6 feet wide and 7 feet long. To buy the correct amount of fertilizer, she needs to find the area of the garden, but she does not know how to solve 6 times 7. So let's show how she could use doubling to figure out the area. Now, I also drew it down here if you need to on grid paper, but I'm going to work on the one that's up here. So we want to work on doubling. So I have to look at my 2 numbers, 6 and 7. Which one of those can I split in half equally into 2 equal parts? I can split 6 in half. Okay, so which means this is now not 6 feet, but it's going to be 3 feet and 3 feet, because I can divide 6 into 2 equal groups. So remember, I don't know 6 times 7, but I can figure out 3 times 7, and I can figure out 3 times 7. Now, why did I write 3 times 7 in the box? Because I divided my 6 in half. So now it's 3, and now it's 3. So 3 times 7 and 3 times 7. So 3 times 7 equals 21, and 3 times 7 equals 21, and 21 plus 21 equals 42. So 6 times 7 equals 42, and the area of your friend's garden is 42 square feet. Again, you don't need to be an expert. We're going to do some more practicing. So in order to practice, I have 4 facts down here: 5 times 7, 4 times 3, 9 times 9, 6 times 8. Which facts can I divide into equal groups? Okay, well, if I look at 4 times 3 and I make a rectangle, 4 and 3, I can divide that 4 in half. So now it's 2 and 2. So it would be 3 times 2 and 3 times 2. I cannot divide 5 or 7 in half equally. I cannot divide 9 and 9 in half equally, but I can divide 6 in half equally. So that's no longer one long side of 6. It's 2 short sides, and it's 3 and 3. So it would be 8 times 3 and 8 times 3. And that's going to be 24 plus 24, which equals 48. So 6 times 8 equals 48. This is just a great strategy to use when you want to figure out bigger multiplication problems that you're not quite sure of, but you know that if it's an even number, I can divide one of my sides. If I make a rectangle, I can divide one of my sides into 2 equal parts. So let's go to page 169. We're going to work on number 5 together. Your friend changed her mind. Now she wants her garden to be 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. She needs to find the area of this garden, but she does not know how to solve 4 times 8. So we're going to use doubling to help her solve 4 times 8. Let's go ahead and take the side that's 4 feet and divide it in half. So we're going to label 2 and 2 because that's half of 4. Okay. So my helper fact that I'm going to use is 2 times 8 and 2 times 8 because I divided that 4 in half. So my helper fact is, 2 times 8, which is 16. Okay. So then if I add 16 plus 16, I'm going to get 32. So 4 times 8 equals 32. And the area of your friend's garden is 32 square feet. Now, it's the same garden down here, but I want to challenge you, instead of dividing it by the 4, divide it at the 8. So then this would be 4 and 4. See what you can come up with that one. And then for the rest of your time in math today, you're going to work on pages 170 and 171. You're going to work on reviewing, because we've already worked on making bar graphs and picture graphs. So here's a picture graph. You're going to change that information into a bar graph. Visitors to Big Bend National Park, that's the title. It goes here, all right? And then some questions to answer. And when you're finished with that, your math boxes. Good luck.